dad. I have 2 daughters, and one's a missionary that works with Ventures in Mission out of Gainesville, Georgia. And the other one is moving to Gainesville, Jordan to work with Ventures in Missions and other missions. They just gotten back recently from Ireland, and I told them after they got back that a lot of our ancestors came from Ireland, and I threw them a book on our family heritage, and they looked at it some and was surprised to understand they were visiting homeland. I shared that with them when they got back. But at any rate, I appreciate them. I appreciate God calling them into ministry. I miss them immensely. And because I'm a human being, I've raised them to serve the Lord, and I'm certainly not going to tell them they can't. I encourage them to do so. My only regret is that I don't have more children to give to Jesus.
Amen.
If I had more, I'd give them to him. I gave them to him when they were born, and I gave them to him when we dedicated them in church. And I tried to stay out of his way as much as I could. I asked him to be their father because I didn't know how to be a father. My dad was an alcoholic, and I didn't know how to do that. And I said, God, I will mess this thing up. One of the things I did right in life, did a lot of wrong things, but one of the things I did that was right is when I asked God to be their father.
That's
He
right.
did a good job. He always does a good job. And I appreciate their mother being obedient to him and working with him. And I was traveling a whole lot during those times, more than I wanted to. And, I regret not being able to be home more, but I did what was necessary. And so, and I missed a lot of good times. But God seemed to always get me there in the important times. And when they needed me, I was there. And I wouldn't spend my life doing anything other than serving Jesus. If I had to do over it again, I'd try to do a better job. And I tried to do a better job as it came along, but I failed. But, you know, and I'd like to say, oh, I did the best I could. I didn't do the best I could. But I tried to do the best I could. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference in succeeding and putting forth the effort.
Amen.
And so I'm glad for the grace of God that gives us hope and salvation. I can't save myself. I can't save you.
That's right.
And only Jesus could do that.
Amen.
And today in this service, I'm going to ask you to do this. I'm going to ask you to accept Jesus. And some of us need, we've accepted him as our Savior. We need to accept him as the Lord of our lives.
Come on.
We need to renew those commitments we made when we got saved.
Amen.
I do it constantly. Understand? It's not just something I did. I know he saved me, and he saved me eternally. Because it's not by works, it's by grace.
That's right.
When Martin Luther pulled out of the Catholic Church many years ago and started what we know as today as Protestants, if you don't know what that is, you're one of them, unless you're a Catholic.
Amen.
When he nailed his 95 theses on the door of the church door where he was the pastor, his biggest problem was the biggest problem I always had with some of the Catholic doctrine. His biggest problem was salvation is not grace and works.
Amen.
Salvation is grace. And Luther said, unto good works.
That's right.
Works don't save you, but people who get saved because they have the new nature, the nature of Christ, does good works.
That's right.
It doesn't have anything to do with you being saved. It's the product of being saved.
That's right.
In 1994, Pope John Paul II signed a document with the Lutheran Church, and later he signed the same document with the Methodist Church that said that salvation is by grace unto good works.
Amen.
Luther won.
Amen.
Took a lot of years, a lot of suffering on his part. But the truth was finally opened to see that grace is the gift of God,
That's right.
and not of works, lest any man should boast.
Amen.
Now, don't misunderstand. There are people who say, I know Jesus. If they do, and I'm not their judge, and I'm not going to judge them, I'm just making an observation. If they do, well, I don't see any evidence of it. You know what I'm saying? I know some people who say the Christians, they're more wicked than the wicked crowd I used to run around with before I got saved. I'm glad I didn't meet them when I first got saved. You know?
Amen.
Salvation is eternal, but you must first be born again. You must be saved.
That's right.
And the Spirit of God has to speak to you and draw you and convict you. You won't do it when you want to. You'll do it when God says.
That's right.
That's why when Jesus says today, let whosoever will come and take of the water of life freely. I said, I won't come and take of the water of life freely. Right?
Amen.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to delay. I don't go home and fix anything. There's nothing there I can fix. If I can fix it, it'll already be fixed.
Amen. Amen. Come on.
I just want to get to Jesus. That's all.
Amen.
That's all. I've exhausted all of my good ideas, all of my thoughts of being able to be successful for God. I gave up my ministry and got in His ministry.
Amen. Amen.
And I've learned that I can't do anything unless He does it through me. I know those words, but I've learned that truth. I can't do things for God and bring them into the Lord, because every time I try, I mess it up. It's a good idea, I just can't make it work. What I do is I get to the Lord and I say, Lord, send me and use me and move through me and work through me, because I can't do this thing.
Amen.
And so it's Him that does the work. What He's asking us to do is to surrender our lives, our spirits, our souls, our minds, our bodies, and let Jesus live the Christian life, because we can't live it anymore.
That's right.
Let Him live His life through us, and we can have faith that Jesus can do that. You know, and believe Him and trust Him for that. And it's the faith in Jesus that will get you through. It's not your ability to work. You work yourself in the hole.
Amen.
And when you get in the hole, you just keep trying to crawl out. You just keep digging into the dirt, trying to get out. And all you're doing is making the hole deeper.
You're right.
It's saying, God, have mercy and help me, Lord. Do what I cannot do for myself. Save me. I can't save myself. I can't help myself. I'm at your mercy and your mercy alone.
Yes.
Unless you help me, I'm forever lost.
Bless you.
And there's not one single solitary thing I can do about it. You understand? Apart from God, you're lost, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You're right.
You can be as good as you want to be, and I promise when you finish, you're still not good.
Amen. Come on.
Some of us in the Christian life, we're so good we need to ask our children and our wives
Come
and
on.
or our husbands.
Amen.
If you're letting him be brave enough to tell you the truth, if you're going to punish him the rest of his life, he may lie. But if you give him, if you say it to him earnestly and honestly and say, I'm not looking for a fan club, I'm not asking you if you love me, I want to know the truth.
Come on.
How does my life compare? Well, you'll fall short, but that's not what you're asking. Am I sincerely letting Christ and all of my failures and blunders and sins, that's the time you did it and you knew better. It wasn't a mistake, it was a sin.
You're right, brother.
Am I striving to follow Christ? Do I have the fruits of Christ and the fruits of the Spirit of God? Is there mercy and compassion and love and a zeal and a genuine desire for me to serve God? Is that anywhere in my life that you can detect? You'd ask the people who know you best. You wouldn't have to ask anybody else.
You're right, brother.
I asked my brother, and I'll try not to hold you too long this morning, but I asked him to come and do a song for me. And he's going to come and do it. But I'm going to read you some texts, and we're going to go into the scripture this morning. I want to talk to you about a father and Father's Day.
Amen.
One that's in the Bible. And if you stand with us, we'll read the scripture when we're finished. And we're gonna try to get you involved in this song somewhere, because this is not entertainment, this is worship. There's a
That's right.
difference.
Amen.
If you wanna see entertainment, you have to go to the Coliseum.
Amen. Amen.
They do a better job at it than I can do anyway. But you wanna see me if you wanna be entertained. Get to the entertainment. What we're gonna do is worship God.
That's right.
God